Hi, folks. Welcome to my second futile attempt at shortening the length of my videos by only showing 7 records at a time. First one didn't go that well. These come from various sources, various different times over the last few months. So, without further ado, let's see what I've managed to pick up. First one actually goes back to last year, and this is the Scilib or Caleb people, not sure how you're meant to pronounce it, and the album Tanyet. This was released for RSD last year on lovely blue vinyl. And this is often referenced as a Ry Cooder album because of his involvement in it. It was originally released in 1968 and is best described as a Raga rock album because of its Indian influences and the heavy use of sitar. It's a very short album, only about 21, 22 minutes in length, more of an EP, I suppose, these days. As I said, Ry Cooder plays guitar on it, and it's often referenced as a Ry Cooder album, but really it's the brainchild of one Mike Deasy, who was a session musician, part of the Wrecking Crew, I think. And he plays sitar, guitar, and tambura on this album. The Scilib people are credited as Liebuk Hyde, H-Y-D, who is actually Mike Deasy himself. On guitar and sitar, Michael Sean Deasy on vocal and drum, who is his 6-year-old son. Joseph Osborne as bass and engineer, and Larry Knetchell on bass and keyboards. But you have, as I said, Ry Cooder on guitar, Jim Horn on woodwinds, and Jim Gordon on drums as well. Very good sort of jamming 60s style psychedelic raga rock. Excellent stuff, if very short. That sounds up your street. Check them out. Next, it wouldn't be one of my videos if we didn't visit Scandinavia, and this is the album Epektasis by Nicholas Barker. Now, Nicholas Barker was the founder, guitarist, vocalist, keyboardist with the great Swedish prog rock band Anekdoten. And a couple of years ago, he formed a label, Tonbad Gramophone, which this record is on, with Sophie Linde, and together they released an electronic album under the moniker Cosmogen. And yeah, that was about 2021. This is purely a solo album by Nicholas on vintage keyboards. It's very much ambient electronic soundscapes in that sort of kosmische German electronic music vein. It's actually a really excellent album. It's his second solo album. His first was a soundtrack for a Spanish horror movie, which sounds intriguing. Love my horror movies. Love electronic music. One I'll have to try and find. But no, if you like electronic music of the kosmische vein, highly recommended. And sticking with electronic music, we have this double album by Département d'Éducation Psychique, Department of Psychic Education. And this is a collaboration between Jean-Marc Foussin on AKS and voice. Now, Jean-Marc Foussin is an Algerian French electroacoustic and electronic music musician who's been around, I think, from the 70s, early 80s. I personally hadn't come across him. And it's his collaboration with a German duo that go under the monikers of Dynamo Dresden and SVN, who are on here on electronics. So yeah, they did an improvised album in the studio and enjoyed that experience. So they took it on the road and did some concerts, and this is a recording from two of those concerts, one at Ulm in Berlin on February 17th, 2016, and the other one at Neues Deutschland on February the 20th, 2016. This is sort of very avant-garde, droney, minimalistic electronic music. Very good. I'm definitely interested in checking out more of Jean-Marc Foussin's work. Like I say, it's been around for a long time. It's done a lot of work, a lot of collaborations. So there's probably something of interest there. The next one I wasn't going to show because it's already been shown by John Bellamy, but I just thought this was superb and I just had to reinforce his recommendation of it. And this is the first album by Zop on the Flat Circle label. Now, Zop it's basically one guy. Brian Stevenson on a whole slew of vintage keyboards, along with guitar. Though he does have a drummer on here, Andrea Moneta, who plays drums. There are guest appearances by Andy Tillison of the band Tangent, who does some co-production on here as well, and Theo Travis, who also played with Tangent and with Soft Machine Legacy, who became Soft Machine. I don't know if he's still with them. Anyway, this is a superb album of pure Canterbury music in the vein of National Health and Hatfield and North, bit of Egg. It's wonderful. I really think this is great. I mean, you can tell their influences by the fact that they give recognition to Dirk Campbell, who was of Egg themselves, Dungan, Anecdote, and Frank Zappa, National Health, Hatfield and the North, Soft Machine, Yazist, the Finnish band, Igor Stravinsky, and Steve Reich. So I would highly, highly recommend this if you're into National Health, Hatfield and the North style Canterbury music. They've got a second album out now, which is out on CD. The vinyl is due soon, and I've definitely put a pre-order in for that. Sticking with the Canterbury theme, we have the second album of, I think, 4 they've done by Magic Bus. I showed their third album, I think, last year, Philip the Egg. Like I said, this is their second album called Transmissions from Sogmore's Garden, on Back to the Garden Records. They, again, very much in the Canterbury vein, but this time more in the vein of Caravan. That wonderful, quirky sense of humour that Caravan they do. They're an English band. Basically, it's the 2 main guys are Paul Evans on vocals and guitar and Jay Darlington on keyboards. Jay Darlington, I think, played with Kula Shaker, was it? And also played with Oasis. But superb, Caravan-esque prog rock with a touch of gong in there as well. but with a vocalist who probably sounds more like Dirk Campbell of Egg than actually Pi Hastings or Richard Sinclair. But if you like Caravan, I think you'll like Magic Bus.
5 days out in the desert sun with the wild and the free. White bird, painted over papa blue in the light of the moon. Climb up the bus, come head after the summer. Come along, free yourselves from the winter.
Now, last year, and again thanks to John Bellamy, one of my records of the year was the first album by the band Birth. And Birth were the vehicle for Brian Ellis. And in a recent trip up to Dumfries to Jellybone Records, I managed to pick up this record, his third solo album, originally recorded in 2008 but not released until 2011, which is called Kipu. It's a double album on the Necro Records label. And there you have him looking suitably, I don't know what. Brian Ellis is a superb musician, guitarist, keyboardist. This is all played by himself, except for some drumming in 2 or 3 tracks. There's only 7 tracks across the these 4 sides, so it's lengthy tracks in a sort of mixture of prog, fusion, and Zool music. Wonderful stuff. I've just got to read what Julian Cope has to say in the liner notes. You can always count on Copey to give a great synopsis of the album. And he says that this record dares to rub shoulders with such cultural giants as John McLaughlin's immense 1970 Devotion LP, to nip at the heels of Miles Davis' most opaque and chromatic Agatha, to dock at Magma's most guarded spaceport, even to sail perilously close to USS Zappa, yet still come out smelling like Faust's first. Magical is this recording, Continental Circus period gong axe instrumentals as augmented, nay, wind assisted by the mothers Ian Underwood and the Gardner brothers. You got it. Oh, oi, Christian Vander, what's Kabayan for extremely well done. I think this is excellent. I was wondering as I was listening to it, where's the Zool, where's the Magma influences? And then you get to the side-long track on side 4 called Valomenden, and that is pure Magma. It's superb, excellent. Sticking with Brian Ellis, he was also the founder of the American prog rock band Astra. This is their second album, The Black Chord, released in 2012. The band were formed, I think, in 2001, but didn't record their first album until 2009, yeah? So this came 3 years after. And this is the last one they've done. I don't know if... I read that they were on hiatus, but not sure. Though the band Birth also include other members of Astra, so maybe they've just morphed into Birth. But this is pure 70s prog rock. It comes in this slipcase. Then you get this wonderful artwork side, Astra. And you get each member of the band. If you heard the Birth album last year, then you pretty much know what to expect, I think, of this. Very much 70s prog. Great album. I'd love to get the first, but tends to be more difficult to get at a decent price. Bloody hell, sorry, forgive my language. That's 17 minutes, which with the needle drops will get to about 25 minutes. It's not working, is it? Anyway, hope you've seen something there that you're interested in. Hope to be back very, very soon with another 7, as I've got to get through this my inbox. Anyway, shut up, Pete. Bye.